Hello everybody, I'm Michael, and today I'll be making another tier list, but this time it is going to be all of the MCU heroes, or at least kind of main franchise characters within all of the MCU movies. I've definitely had a lot of fun making these tier lists with the movies, the Star Wars movies, and the Marvel MCU movies. For some reason, whenever I clicked on this, it turned all of my stuff to Spanish, so here we have something that I can't read because I don't speak Spanish, and another thing which I'm assuming is ad from Google, or don't know what these are. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm not basing this off of power or skill or anything. I'm basing it purely off of my enjoyment of seeing that character on screen whenever I'm watching any MCU movie. So there's no, because obviously probably Captain Marvel would be up at the top if it was just pure power, but I'm just going off of my enjoyment and personal kind of relationship to that character. Let's start it off here. Let's see. Here we have Winter Soldier. I'm going to go ahead and put him at an A. I've really liked seeing his character development ever since the movie Winter Soldier and through kind of Civil War and both of the Infinity War movies. I don't know who this is. I'm going to say that this is Falcon because I see some kind of wing thing behind him. Let me look around and see if I see anything else that looks like Falcon. Okay, I don't, so I'm going to say that this is Falcon. I'm going to put him at B. I like him a decent amount, but I definitely think that they could have done a little bit more development other than just saying he kind of ran into Steve Rogers at some point. Doctor Strange, I'm going to throw up at A. I really liked seeing his kind of go from very arrogant to very humble. I really enjoyed just seeing his transition with the accident in his car. Next, we have Peter Parker, or the new SpiderMan. I'm going to put him at S. I absolutely love Tom Holland. He's such a great actor. I think he was perfect for this role. I really think that just kind of his portrayal of Spider-Man is one of the best. Him and Tobey Maguire probably have my two favorite, but I think Tom Holland edges out Tobey Maguire just a little bit. Black Panther, I think I'm going to put down an F. I very much disliked the Black Panther movie. There was just nothing about it that really caught my interest. The only part I really liked was the cool kind of technology aspect of it and all the kind of how they used vibranium for everything. But I didn't really think Black Panther had a whole lot of development, and whenever he's on screen, I just really do not like seeing him. Next, we have AntMan. I think Ant-Man's pretty good. I'm going to put him at B. I definitely think they could have developed him a little bit more because he's had 2 solo movies, but I think he's pretty alright compared to some of the other ones. Wasp, I'm going to put at C. They just kind of gave her a wasp suit in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I was really just kind of hoping that there would be some more backstory behind that. I don't know this person's name, but it is the Black Panther kind of guardian or spear woman. I'm going to put her at C. I kind of like some of her voice lines. I think she has some pretty interesting ones. She was one of the few people left in the kind of Avengers team after the snap, so we did get to see her a little bit more in the first kind of 30 minutes of the movie. Here we have Valkyrie. I'm going to put her up at A. I really liked seeing her in Thor Ragnarok, and then to having her continue into both of the Infinity War movies has been pretty nice. I think she has some pretty funny lines, and I really just like how her kind of character development worked out. I'm also going to put Captain Marvel in F. I really liked the Captain Marvel movie, but it wasn't really because of Captain Marvel. I'm not a huge fan of Brie Larson's acting. I think she's alright, but I think they could have gotten somebody better. I think it's a cool hero, but they just kind of made a confusing movie where she tried to explain her own backstory, and I just thought it was a little bit weird. Here, I'm going to put Captain America at S tier. That's pretty obvious. Just such a great, noble character. We've seen his development through, I believe, 8 Marvel movies, or maybe more, but definitely a very important hero, and I like watching him on screen. Next we have Chris Pratt. I'm also going to put him at S. Chris Pratt is Star-Lord, and he's probably one of my favorite actors of all time. I really think he adds kind of the same thing that Valkyrie does, with a little bit of kind of lightness and comic relief in some of the tense situations, but I think they made it so that it wasn't completely just a comic character, because Chris Pratt definitely does have that serious moment whenever he finds out that Thanos killed Gamora, and he gets super emotional about that. Speaking of Gamora, here we have She Is Next. I'm going to put her at B. I think the reason I don't like her is just because of how she is supposed to be. She's supposed to be this super battle-hardened warrior, and that just kind of makes it impossible for them to add a whole lot of kind of character development. But I think they've done a pretty good job at making her more human than she was in the first movie of her Guardians of the Galaxy. Drax, I'm going to put him at A. I really like Drax. I wish they would have shown him a little bit more in Endgame and Infinity War. He was in there a little bit, just not a whole lot. I think Drax is a great character. He has a really cool backstory. I wish they would have done a little bit more with his backstory in the first Guardians movie, because they talked about how everybody came down and just kind of destroyed his planet and killed his family, but then they never really brought that back. War Machine, I'm going to put it B. I think he's a pretty good character. I really like all the tech with the Iron Man suits. I think it's really cool that they kind of had him go from the Air Force into becoming an Avenger because of Tony Stark. And overall, I think he's just a great character. Next, we have Nebula. I'm going to put her up at A. I think they gave her a whole lot of character development with the whole mind kind of reading section from Endgame, and I really think that she's a very neat character, and I like that she kind of has had such a hard life but is able to become just so great throughout the course of the movies. Next, we have Mantis. I'm going to put her at B just solely because there isn't a whole lot of her in the movies. She's in there a little bit. Most of her screen time is in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I wish they would have added a little bit more about her because she has really cool powers that just aren't really explained yet. And I really think that she just is a very powerful hero that they haven't been able to utilize. Next, we have Groot. I'm going to put him up here at A. I think he's just such a great character. He has some pretty funny voice lines, and I think it's great that they're able to just kind of add so much emotion and different kind of sayings from 3 words, I am Groot. I really think that he's just a great character. Rocket, I'm also going to put at A for kind of the same reason. He has that very sarcastic kind of I'm better than everybody vibe, and it's definitely nice to get that every once in a while because most of the heroes are fairly humble. Rocket is definitely not one of them. Next we have, let me think, I think that this is Shuri, or supposed to be Shuri, because I don't see her in any of these other ones. So whether or not this is Shuri, I'm going to say this is Shuri. I'm going to put her up at B. I think she's just an incredible character. She has some really cool technology and does a lot of really cool kind of virtual, and I really like the whole interaction scene between her little orb and the car in the first Black Panther movie, or I guess the only Black Panther movie. Iron Man, obviously going to put it S tier, by far my favorite MCU hero. Just seeing his development from being just kind of a playboy billionaire to being one of the most humble and being able to save the universe by sacrificing himself. I think it's just a great character. Next, we have Ghost. I'm not really sure why she's on here. She isn't really an MCU hero that much. I'm just going to put her at C because I don't really consider her that much of a hero, but I kind of liked her development and everything that happened in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Thor, I'm going to put it S. I wasn't a huge fan of Thor until Infinity War, and then Infinity War, or Endgame, was just kind of my setting point where I was like, I really like Thor. Before that, he was just kind of a little bit dry for me, but after being kind of destroyed and stuff in Ragnarok, I really think that they just kind of brought out the best in him. I think he's a great, really just cool character, and I'm glad that they added a lot of character development for him in these most recent movies. Black Widow, I'm going to put it A. Once again, I'd just love to see more of her kind of backstory stuff. I think they could have done a lot more with just kind of how she was, I guess, kind of created with all of her Russian background and all the training. They did a few kind of little flashback scenes, but I definitely would have preferred for them to have maybe another just kind of solo Widow movie, which I think is coming out fairly soon. So eventually my rating of her will probably go up just purely because I'll have more information on her. I'm going to put Hulk at A tier. I think he's just an incredible hero. He has a whole lot of power. I like seeing him on screen because he always does something really cool. Like whenever he stopped the giant kind of worm Leviathan thing in the first Avengers movie, that was probably one of the craziest scenes in all of the MCU. And I really just think that he is a very cool character. He has both the brains and the brawn, and I think it's pretty neat. Next, Hawkeye, I'm going to put it B. I really enjoy seeing him in the movies. He's had a lot of development ever since we found out he kind of had a family and kids, and I really think that they did a good job with him kind of going on the murder rampage in Endgame, trying to avenge his family. Here we have Scarlet Witch. I'm going to put her at A tier. I really think she has a whole lot of power. I think the acting is just great. I think that they did a great job of developing her story in just maybe kind of one movie. they just showed her kind of in Ultron, and then she's just been a part of the Avengers ever since. I really think that her kind of red orb power is just incredible, and I really think she's just a great character overall. Quicksilver, I'm going to put at C just purely because we haven't seen him a lot. He was only in one movie and then he got killed. And I wish they would have had a little bit more with him. Maybe, I don't know, there's probably nothing they can do with him at this point since he's already been killed off. But I really did enjoy him in that one movie he was in. And finally, Vision, I'm going to put him at S tier. I really wish he would have been an Endgame, but I guess that's kind of impossible because he is the Mind Stone, so without him, there is no Mind Stone, so Thanos couldn't have snapped in the first place. But I think every time he's on screen, I really just enjoy being able to kind of see everything with him. I've always been used to the Jarvis voice from the first couple Iron Man movies, and that was the kind of Paul Bettany or Vision voice, and now they made him his own character. Unfortunately, he did die in the first Infinity War movie, but I'm very glad that he got a good amount of screen time in Ultron and Civil War before he got killed off in Infinity War. Here is my tier list. This is kind of overall just what I think. If you have any complaints or just kind of want to tell me where you would put different characters, please do that in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe.